A few of you have asked, what user interface do I use? Welcome, this is Pineleaf Needle's Skirmisher Middle-earth. Today we're going to take a look at the plugins that I use when playing The Lord of the Rings Online. We'll begin with Titan Bar. Titan Bar is a plugin which creates a bar at the top of your screen. And this creates a number of icons which provides information concerning the game. We'll begin with the left side, which includes the money. Actually, you could position the icons anywhere you wish along the bar. And this is the arrangement that I made. So here we have the money where it shows me how much gold, silver, and copper I have. Now while I can look at this without doing any hovering or clicking, if I do hover over it, it will show me how much gold I have with all of my characters. So therefore at top is Pineleaf, and below that is another character I have on this server, Pinewolf. It will only show the money that's on the same server. So on another server, I would get different numbers for the characters I have on that server. And then it shows the total for all characters, then how much you've earned so far in the current session, and finally, how much you've accumulated over the course of the day. So this means that I've earned 21 silver over the course of the day, to spent for a net of 1896. Next we have inventory. So you just click this. Well, first off, if you just look at it, you see I have 49 of 90 slots used, which means I have 41 remaining. But if I click it, it'll show me everything in my backpack. Now, that's not really particularly useful when you consider that I've got another plugin to show my inventory, and even if I didn't, I could open up my bags the normal way. Yet, it also allows me to look at what's in the backpack for my other characters. Therefore, if I wanted to see if another character of mine on the same server had a particular item, I could jump right to their backpack and view what's in there. And as you can see, this character is straight out of the starter zone, therefore has a bunch of starter stuff. Next is the vault. Now in this case, this will show everything that's in my vault. Now this is useful because if I was stuck here out in the middle of the Forsaken Inn, as I am now, and I wanted to know whether I needed to make a trip to a vault keeper to pick something up, I could see, do I have it? And if I do, then I might go to the vault keeper, and if not, well, I've saved myself a trip. This prevents you from making long trips for no reason. And of course, I can go to my other characters, see if they have something useful. And right now, the Vault Keeper seems to be more of a stable than anything else, since I don't have the writing skill on that character yet. Finally, shared storage. Everything I have in shared storage, which at the moment is not much, since I have only one very active character on the server, and the other character hasn't been doing much. So therefore, I just stuck in a little farming stuff temporarily. Next, we have an item tracker. In this thing, if I hover over it, it shows the items that I'm tracking, and that way I can take a quick look at how much is there. This is used for those items that you want to keep track of, but can get lost in the inventory. Because if I open up my bag, and I'll explain this plugin later, trying to find, alright, where are my traveling rations in here? Eventually I could find them here. But it's very easy to get lost in trying to find them. So you could put something in here, and if you open it, you can either add or subtract items. Anything that's green, is being monitored. And of course, you can search things as usual. Next are, of course, what I'd be interested from a skirmish point of view. How many marks I have, medallions, seals. And that doesn't have any functions that when you click on it. So that just gives me a number and that's it. Destiny points. And this is a representation of how many destiny points I have earned so far minus how many I spent. And of course these are per server, as destiny points are that way. So whenever I level, I've been gaining some destiny points. And I probably haven't spent many on this character, considering that my usual thing I spend destiny points on are experience accelerators, and this particular version of Pineleaf doesn't have much use for those things, considering that I've been slowing down my experience gain instead of trying to speed it up. Now here is the reputation representation, where I just hover over it and it shows my current standing in reputation. So I'm tracking currently the Matham Society and the Eglain. I'm currently questing in the Lone Lands. And for this particular character, I'm probably not going to be leaving the Lone Lands until I reach Kindred. Now here I could bring up a character panel that shows the current stats for my character. And finally, over at the right, we have a clock. Now, this is where things are a little bit different. This is actually not from Titan Bar. Titan Bar does have a clock. Titan's Bar clock, though, does not include seconds, while this one includes hours, minutes, and seconds. So I use C time instead. And this is because when I'm doing timings while I'm running skirmishes, I want to know how many seconds have passed. And if I know how many seconds are passed, the only way to do that is if I have a second counter. So that's why I include seconds here instead of using the one that comes with Titan Bar. So far we have looked at Titan Bar and C time. Now the next one is Huge Bag. Huge Bag is made by the same person who does Titan Bar. Now when I do these, you can see that all of my items are collected into one big bag, hence the name Huge Bag. And that way I don't have to open up these individual inventory slots, and I don't worry about doing things like dragging items from one into the other, which is what I did before I started using plugins for this. Now, when you have this open, you can also sort them if you wish, in which case it'll order them by function and I think alphabetically after that. So therefore it tends to put the potions first and things that are associated with tasks are near the end. You can also search in here. So if I do that, then I can, for example, if I say pile, these are the things that have PI in them so far. So we've got the pies, the pile of copper, some pipeweed, and what's this PI in here? Journeyman, Westernist, Shield, oh yeah, Spike. So that's the search function in here. Now you can also open up your vault in here also. So this also has a vault function. So it's a little bit redundant because it's one that I already have in Titan Bar. But if you didn't have Titan Bar and you still wanted that vault function, then you could still get it within Huge Bag. And the same thing is true with the shared storage. Yes. So now I close that, and we come to buff bars. Buff bars is a useful one to keeping the status of what's going on with your character. It can show you all the buffs and debuffs that are on your character. For example, currently I have 3 buffs on me. 1, halted experience, which means I don't gain any experience as long as this is active. That's from this Stone of the Tortoise. A Quiet Calm, which gives me a bonus to glory gain, commendation modifiers. I know. Big deal. Not much use when you are having your halted experience. And then determination, which is the current stance I'm in as a warden. I can also turn my +1 hope on, and that gets added there. You can blacklist certain items so that you don't see them. That way, if you have something that's commonly up, you can just tell it, no, don't bother showing this, it just gets in the way. Now, the next item are trigger responses that show our status. Let me show you what they're really called. Here's the option screen. The quick slots. Now, the quick slots are very useful, especially when you're in combat. Now, let's see if I can find this goblin here and see if he will oblige me by putting a debuff on me. Nah, he just dies. I have to find someone who could poison me or something like that, which means finding some spiders. Well, while I go and find some spiders, I'll talk about the third item in the list, which are the effect sliders. I do not use effect sliders. I know some people like them, but the effect sliders, when you turn them on, I know trying to drive and do a video at the same time is not a good combination. Alright, sliders, effect slider. I always forget. Oh, there it is. Here's the enabled button. Alright, hit the enabled button, hit accept, and now I've got the slider up. Now this slider shows you how much time is remaining in various items. And you can see it's on a rather unusual scale here, so that 1 second left is at this line. An effect with 10 seconds left goes to this line. 30 seconds uses this line. 1 minute uses this line. 2 minutes. And then anything longer goes way over here to the left. So right now, everything here is to the left that has a countdown of any type on it. Now it happens that the halted experience and a quiet calm, well, the quiet calm is counting up, which means that it's not going to be on the slider at all. And the halted experience says it has 2 hours, 39 minutes left, and it will get reset every time you hit the end in any case. So therefore, only this token is going to be affected by a slider at the moment. Now, if I can get something on here that is a little bit quicker. Oh, there's my +15 agility. But that, of course, is also put down there. Actually, the warden skills, those would be. Let me fight this watcher here. Show you how that works. Alright, what happened there? Let's see. Ah, here's a warden skill. Is here now at 9 seconds. You can see it's moving down slowly. And then it starts accelerating as it gets closer to, now it's at 1, and then it slides down very fast at the end. That's how that works. Ah, I found a spider. Let's see if this one will poison me. Now you can see that susceptibility to poison has come up, and that's a poison effect. In addition, this potion came up on a slot that did not previously exist. This also comes from buff bars. And those are the quick slots. There are 6 different types of quick slots you can have: disease, fear, poison, wound, morale, and power. Actually, you could create some custom ones in addition to it, but those are the 6 that you have by default. Now this has 2 things it does. First, it tells you that you have a potable effect. Second, it also saves you space on your bars because you don't have to place your pots on your bars. Instead, you could just depend on the buff bars to bring it up when you need it, since it won't bring it up when you don't need it. Now, for the case of morale and power, obviously you're going to be a little bit down on that constantly, so therefore its response is 30% right now. So if I'm down to 30%, then it will trigger. 100 would be silly, and if you have it too low, then you can maybe get killed. So therefore I tend to leave it at the default of 30. Power is probably also 30. Yes. Now for disease, then it works a little bit differently, because diseases then is whether or not they're present, which of course is normal, and then when the effect is curable, because why in the world will you worry about it if it's not curable? And those are your quick slots, your effects windows, which are the things that are down here, and the sliders, which are these things that give those annoying things sliding down. So as soon as I kill the spider, we can go on to the next plugin. Now those are the ones that I keep on constantly. So the next one I'm going to talk about is ones that are only visible when I ask them to be up. In this case, we have daily tasks, which will bring up a window by doing DTW. In this case, I can now look at what tasks I can complete with this character. Now if I just do DT without the W, it could give me a list of the tasks I can do. It says right now I can do 8 different types of tasks, and gives the level range, where I can turn in the tasks. Now if I say DTN, it will then show what tasks can be completed at the nearest task board. Oh, actually DTN semicolon LOC. Actually, it's not natural to check it this way. Technically, you're supposed to do a DTW and hit check nearest board. But I very often abbreviate it and type it in since I've seen it so many times. So therefore, I can go to Oscaroth, which is right nearby, and turn in 4 tasks for Brokenwood Spears, etc. Or 7 tasks in all, according to this, which I might as well do, since I haven't done any tasks yet today. Now you can also list all the locations, all the zones, everything like this, or you could take an item, drop it into here, and then it'll show down here what it is and where you can turn it in. In this case, it's an Elder Fingerbone. It can be turned in at Thornhod, but only when I'm level 37 to 41. So it'll be a few levels before I can turn in that particular item. Now those are the ones that I most commonly use. Now I do have other ones that are potentially on the system, but most of them are ones that I've tried but no longer use. In fact, right, look on here, I have Titan Bar, Huge Bag, Daily Task, Seed Time, and Buff Bars. Those are the only 5 I have installed on this character. Now on Minstrels, I have a special one that I use only for Minstrels because it shows you how I am standing on my Minstrel buffs. And if I do a lot of music, I might use a music plugin also. But these are the ones that I use day to day as I'm questing throughout Middle-earth. The rest of the items that I have on here are things that are directly part of the game. In other words, I just moved various items around. For example, I moved the two 4th and 5th bars over here to the left corner so that I could free up space and not have them interfere in this direction. Therefore, that is everything. Until next time, this is Pineleaf Needles. May your shield protect you, and your spear never break.